to be popular.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're pulling back the emerald curtain on the most impressive Easter eggs, throwbacks, and other small details you may or may not have spotted in Wicked Part 1. If you haven't seen the film or the stage show, we wouldn't want to devastate you with spoilers, so this is your warning.
Well, these things are sent to try us.
Number 20. Shiz's library books. Shortly after Fiyero arrives at Shiz, Galinda takes him on a campus tour, including a stop at the book place. That's library for the rest of us.
And this is the book place. There's a collection of rare books around here somewhere, and some medium rare as well.
If, like many of us, you were too busy wincing at Fiyero's gross mistreatment of the books, or swooning at his every word, you may have missed the level of detail the props team put into making this library look real. As director John M. Chu shared, those are actually real books Fiyero's dancing across.
He stands up on the bookshelf and he starts to kick using the books, and I loved how you surf those books on. Those are real books that you're really surfing on.
Indeed, if you were to pause on practically any book in this scene, you'd get an idea of the kinds of classes taught at Shiz. Justice for the books, they deserve bookmarks, not boot marks.
Dancing through life, now that we are, if only because dust is what we come to.
Number 19. Serving a Storm. Madame Morrible is a powerful sorcerer with a very particular specialty.
Not to fret, weather is my specialty.
Costume designer Paul Taswell leaned into this with outfits that nod to astronomy, reflecting her control over the elements. But it's Morrible's hair that's especially telling.
I've used that idea throughout her clothing and also in her hairstyle, this undulating cloud.
Designed by Frances Hannon, her hairstyle is meant to resemble a cloud with, quote, tails as if the wind had whipped through them. Hannon also hints that Morrible's hair plays a bigger role as her character evolves. Without giving too much away, let's just say you'll want to keep an eye out for a wilder look as the winds of change blow her story in a new direction in Part 2.
Believe nothing she says. She has stolen our grimoire. She is evil.
Number 18. Amma Clutch in the East Dormitory. As you probably know, Wicked is based on Gregory Maguire's novel Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West. While the musical takes plenty of liberties with its source material, the film still pays tribute to the book.
I don't see why you can't just teach us history instead of always harping on the past.
For instance, it includes Galinda's friends Fanny and Shenshin, although Fanny is gender-swapped in the movie. However, a more subtle nod appears in the scene where Shiz's incoming students get their room assignments.
And now, Miss Cuddle, if you please. I am Miss Cuddle, head Shistress.
And these are your dormitory designations and room assignments.
If you look under Galinda's name, you'll spot Amma Clutch. In the book, she's Galinda's chaperone, but after she has an accident and needs medical care, Galinda ends up rooming with Elphaba, who is also without chaperone.
Elphaba, you can room with Miss Galinda.
Wait, what?
Now, go.
Number 17. Just a Slight Gulch. Head Shistress, Miss Caudle, is honored to welcome Governor Throp's daughter to the university. Well, just the one, it seems.
How tragically beautiful you are. It is such an honor to...
I'm the other daughter. I'm beautifully tragic.
The other daughter?
Upon meeting Elphaba, she worries that there's been an oversight, or as she puts it,
Not a fret, just a slight gulch.
Gulch? What's a gulch, you might ask? Or if you're a Wizard of Oz superfan, you may have picked up on the fact that this is a nod to one Elmira Gulch. You know that awful woman who uses her wealth and power to exact petty revenge on teenagers, and their little dogs too? This isn't the only way Miss Gulch is referenced in the movie, but let's not get ahead of ourselves just yet.
Elmira Gulch, just because you own half the county doesn't mean you have the power to run the rest of us. For 23 years I've been dying to tell you what I thought of you. And now, well, being a Christian woman, I can't say it.
Number 16. Stripy Socks. We will, of course, get to some of the iconic footwear later on, but we just need a moment to talk about Nessarose's socks first.
So they can all see how beautiful you are right down to your toes.
You'll notice that she tends to opt for a stripy design. Not to bring the tone down too much, but you may recall that one of the first and pretty much only things we see of the Wicked Witch of the East in The Wizard of Oz is a stripy pair of stockings.
The Munchkins call me because a new witch has just dropped a house on the Wicked Witch of the East. And there's the house, and here you are, and that's all that's left of the Wicked Witch of the East.
Don't worry, that's not really a spoiler. We already know the Wicked Witches of the East and West are sisters, and we doubt we've brought any houses crashing down on anyone by alluding to her fate either.
You have no power here. Be gone before somebody drops a house on you too.
Number 15. A celebration of hot air balloons. One thing the movie isn't short on is a lofty motif of hot air balloons.
Look! A man in a balloon arriving from the sky.
It's the same vessel that brought the wizard to them, just like in The Wizard of Oz. We first spot one in Elphaba's pop-up book as she tells her sister about him.
It's all about our wonderful Wizard of Oz. Do you know how he got here? No. From the sky, in a balloon.
Later, as Elphaba surveys the courtyard at Shiz, the camera zooms in on a mural of the wizard, complete with a hot air balloon next to him. Let's not forget, the wizard also sends Elphaba her invitation for their audience by, you guessed it, hot air balloon. And of course there's the actual balloon that Elphaba and Glinda try to escape in as they flee from the guards.
Quick, jump!
Jump! Me jump!
Jump, Glinda! Jump now!
Right hand, come on!
Talk about inflated importance. Number 14. There's no place like Omaha. During what was meant to be one short day in the Emerald City, Elphaba and Glinda catch a showing of Wizomania.
Presenting the absolute factual story of our wonderful Wizard of Oz.
The tale tells of the wise ones, don't worry, we'll get to them later, leaving a prophecy that someone will arrive in Oz capable of reading the lost language of the Grimoire. What follows is a projection of the wizard saying, We're not sure if he was asking for directions or pulling a fast one on the Ozians, but they sure believed he fulfilled the prophecy. Who knew Omaha could sound so mystical?
I can read it! He must be a wizard!
Eagle-eyed fans may have also made the connection between this moment and the wizard's final scene in The Wizard of Oz. Number 13. Over the Rainbow Where Bluebirds Fly. Did you know composer Stephen Schwartz found a sneaky way to insert part of the Over the Rainbow melody into his score?
The Arlen melody is completely different rhythmically and harmonically. It goes somewhere over the rainbow. And the Unlimited theme is... and so on.
There's also another throwback to the iconic tune in Part 1 that is worth keeping an eye out for. In The Wizard and I, Elphaba dreams of how her life could change when she meets the wizard.
Unlimited. My future is unlimited.
As the song picks up momentum, so does Elphaba. At one point she takes a leap and you can just make out a rainbow behind her. You know, as if she's jumping somewhere over the rainbow.
Held in such high esteem. When people see me, they will scream. For half of Oz's favorite team.
As she lands, a flock of birds, no, make that a flock of bluebirds, take flight.
Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly.
Number 12. What's in a silhouette? Speaking of homages to The Wizard of Oz, did you catch how Elphaba's hand casts the same shape as Margaret Hamilton's Wicked Witch while she tries to cast a spell? Shadows and silhouettes also play significant roles in foreshadowing future events throughout the film.
Remarkable. Absolutely remarkable.
So if you're avoiding spoilers for Part 2, skip ahead now. When Bach first introduces himself to Galinda, He's got quite the lean going, almost as if he was pulled straight out of this scene from The Wizard of Oz. Later on, during Dancing Through Life, Fiyero stands watching Galinda with his arms outstretched in a pose that, let's just say, may serve him well in the future.
We haven't really met properly, have we?
Why, no.
Number 11. Ding Dong the Witch Is. Schwartz's Overture practically sets the gold standard for opening a show.
The first notes of the show with the orchestra go like...
It's dramatic and pulls the audience into the story from the very first note. The film captures that same drama, but with an additional twist. Just before transitioning into No One Mourns the Wicked, the melody takes an upbeat turn, hinting at a tune we all know well. If you sang along, you might have noticed the melody cuts off right before where the word dead would have been sung. Now that's an interesting choice. Why wouldn't they play the full line? Could it mean something? Guess we'll have to wait for part 2 to find out.
Oh, what a world, what a world! Who would have thought a good little girl like you could destroy my beautiful wickedness? Ah, look out! I'm going!
Number 10. Familiar friends follow the yellow brick road. The film opens with a bird's-eye view of Oz, complete with a rainbow and the Emerald City in the distance. During a sweeping shot, Dorothy, Toto, the Scarecrow, Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion head down the yellow brick road. Although they're only briefly spotted from behind, they can be seen carrying the Wicked Witch's broomstick after supposedly melting her. This is the most we see of Dorothy in the film, but the 3 friends she makes on her journey all play a larger role, even if you don't recognize them. For those who haven't seen the stage version of Wicked, we won't give away too much.
Look, this is one that I'm not going to say much about, but I'm going to say look at everyone's silhouettes. If you're a fan of the show and you know what's coming, look at everyone's silhouettes, and I think you're going to have a fun time.
Let's just say that much like the so-called Wicked Witch, things aren't always what they seem.
She had her secrets.
Number 9. The Wizard's Past Life.
Folks have come to expect that sort of thing, and you gotta give the people what they want.
The wizard may have plenty of tricks up his sleeve, but it's all smoke and mirrors. When Elphaba and Glinda realize that the wizard has no real powers, they escape behind the Emerald Curtain. The two stumble upon relics from the wizard's circus days, including the hot air balloon that brought him to Oz. Elphaba recognizes the wizard for what he truly is upon spotting a poster for his magic act.
You have no real power!
Exactly. That's why I need you.
The poster even features the wizard's real name. Well, not his full name, which was revealed to be Oscar Zoroaster Phaedrig Isaac Norman Henkel Emmanuel Ambroise Diggs in the Oz books.
I give you the Oz of tomorrow.
He was able to fool people into thinking that he could do something magical.
I think people need direction.
Even so, Elphaba sees that everything about the not-so-wonderful wizard was a lie, including the name his kingdom was built upon.
The best way to bring folks together is to give them a real good enemy.
Number 8. Poppies.
Fiyero, what are you doing?
Well, you coming?
Elphaba and Fiyero grow closer after rescuing a lion cub who may or may not grow up to have a cowardly complex. The scene plays out pretty much as it did in the stage version, with one clever twist. On stage, Elphaba casts a vague spell to incapacitate the others in the classroom.
That was you who made all that happen.
Here, Elphaba uses a bouquet of poppies that she brought Dr. Dilliman to spread a sleeping spell. This is a nod to the deadly poppy field from the original Oz book and the 1939 film. In both, the poppies nearly send Dorothy into an eternal slumber. Elphaba initially doesn't realize the power within the flowers, but she'll surely remember this when she encounters Dorothy down the road.
Oh, you can't rest now. We're nearly there.
Number 7. A horse of a different color.
What's been amazing for me is falling into something huge and trust the free fall.
The stage musical introduces us to Fiyero as he arrives at Shiz University with his driver. In the film, Fiyero shows up to Shiz on a horse of a different color. We mean that literally. The colorful horse didn't originate from L. Frank Baum's books, but the 1939 movie.
What kind of a horse is that? I've never seen a horse like that before.
No, and never will again, I fancy. There's only one of him, and he's it. He's the horse of a different color you've heard tell about.
With Technicolor being a cornerstone of that cinematic classic, the filmmaker seized every opportunity to saturate the Land of Oz, right down to the horse pulling Dorothy's carriage. In another change from the stage version, Elphaba is the first person Fiyero meets at Shiz. Just as his horse is a different color, Fiyero finds that Elphaba isn't like any girl he's ever met. Not because she's of a different color, but because rather something deeper.
We didn't see you there. You must have blended with the foliage.
Is this how you go through life? Just running amok and trampling anyone in your path?
No. Sometimes I'm asleep.
Number 6. Lion in the Basket. Liberating the lion cub from his cage, Elphaba places him in her bicycle's basket and rides into the forest. If you're getting deja vu, that's because Elphaba did something similar, yet completely different, in another life.
You wicked old witch! Uncle Henry, Auntie Em, don't let him take Toto. Don't let him take him, please! Stop first!
Put him in the basket, Henry.
In 1939's The Wizard of Oz, Elmira Gulch takes Toto from Dorothy, cycling away with the Cairn Terrier in her basket. Thankfully, she doesn't notice Toto slipping out and racing back to Dorothy. Although Dorothy and Toto escape Miss Gulch's clutches, they meet a greener reflection of their old neighbor in Oz.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
Elphaba rescuing the lion mirrors Miss Gulch taking Toto. Of course, where Elphaba gets the lion to safety, we don't even want to think about what Gulch would have done with the little dog. Number 5. Breaking the Glass.
Oh, I saved you some space, by the way.
Do you really think this is fair?
I do not. I was promised a private suite. But thanks for asking.
Forced to share a dorm room, Elphaba would rather keep the door shut while Galinda wants it open. Finding a middle ground, Elphaba accidentally shatters the door's glass with her magic, leaving it open even when it's closed.
I don't know. I've never known.
In a way, this moment comes full circle during the climactic Defying Gravity. Taking flight, Elphaba bursts through the glass window, mirroring the aforementioned scene. This time, though, Elphaba purposely breaks the glass, reflecting how she's gained control of her powers. In both scenes, Galinda inspires Elphaba's actions, but for different reasons. When Elphaba broke the glass door, it was because Galinda got on her nerves. When she breaks the window, it's because Galinda has given Elphaba the confidence to realize her unlimited potential.
You can do anything.
Number 4. Erasing animal history.
This school has been generations of education to the people of Oz, and animal professors and Ozian professors all around.
The musical's political commentary is given even more focus in this film, with additional scenes dedicated to Dr. Dillamond and other animals, who are treated as second-class citizens.
We animals are now being blamed for everything that goes wrong.
When Elphaba first demonstrates her powers at Shiz, she accidentally causes several structures to crumble. One of them collapses to reveal an old mural that was built over.
The history of Oz should feel present.
Good luck, and welcome to Shiz!
The artwork features a faculty of animal academics, suggesting many species were once scholars at Shiz. That number has since shrunk, and soon enough, the contributions that animals have made to Oz may be paved over for good, in the name of quote-unquote progress. Even if animals can't talk in our world, there are parallels to how numerous cultures have essentially been erased from the history books.
There was a time before you were born when life in Oz was different. So, when and why did this change?
From what I've read, the Great Drought.
Precisely.
Number 3. Ruby Slippers.
You're gonna be popular. I'll show you what shoes to wear, how to
fix your hair, everything that really counts to be.
Dorothy's slippers were silver in L. Frank Baum's book. Wanting to showcase Technicolor's capabilities, MGM switched the slippers to red in their film adaptation.
Give me back my slippers. I'm the only one that knows how to use them.
Being a product of the 1939 musical, the ruby slippers have rarely popped up in other interpretations of Oz. Wicked is no exception, with Nessarose's father gifting her a pair of silver shoes. However, the filmmakers do sneak in a reference to the iconic ruby slippers. Giving her new bestie a lesson in popularity, Glinda teaches Elphaba many things. This includes what shoes to wear, handing her a pair of red heels. They may not be exact replicas of the trademarked ruby slippers, but it's clear what the filmmakers are doing while still staying in their legal jurisdictions. Speaking of shoes, if you take a look at the ones gifted to Nessarose, take special care to notice the tornado-esque heels, calling to mind her fate. Number 2. Echoes of For Good.
Pink goes good with green.
Goes well with green.
It so does.
Defying Gravity might be the big showstopper, but For Good is the emotional high point of Elphaba and Glinda's friendship.
'Cause I knew you. Because I knew you. I have been changed for good.
Since that tearjerker doesn't occur until Act 2, we'll have to wait a year to hear Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande perform the duet. That doesn't mean For Good is completely absent from this film.
Why, Miss Elphaba? Look at you. You're beautiful.
There are a handful of musical cues hinting at things to come. The most important moment comes during the Ozdust ballroom sequence. Realizing the error of her ways, Glinda joins Elphaba on the dance floor. It's the beginning of a beautiful friendship, with both truly seeing each other for the first time. This is highlighted through an instrumental version of For Good playing in the background.
To make them sing, to make them feel that after they've watched it, they've been changed for good.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Cameos in Oz.
I got us tickets.
You coming?
Everyone will be there.
Erivo and Grande will surely be immortalized as cinema's Elphaba and Glinda, but the film doesn't forget their stage predecessors.
The sisterhood between Elphaba and Glinda, Glinda's comedy, seeing Kristen Chenoweth originate this role, seeing her on Broadway.
I'd never heard anything or seen anything like it.
Keeping it in the family, Glinda's mother is played by Alice Fern, who starred as Elphaba in the West End. A few other West End players drop into Oz, including Carrie Ellis and Diane Pilkington. For the Broadway crowd, the most notable cameos are saved for an extended version of One Short Day.
I wanna be in this life alive, so I'll be back for good someday. To make my life and make my way before today will wonder and enjoy.
Chronicling how the wizard came to Oz are two Wizamania superstars, played by the OG Elphaba and Glinda, Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth. It's not Wicked without them, or its writers, Winnie Holtzman and Stephen Schwartz. Holtzman gets a special bit of dialogue, while the composer is given a special cameo as the guard who tells the best friends that the wizard will see them now.
The wizard will see you now!
What's the most swankified Easter egg you spotted? Let us know in the comments.
Oh, hello.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.